Good morning. Hello. I have to be kind of quick. I tend to ramble on, and I can't do that with this because I am trying to get a little 15-minute highlight clip to put on Twitch of what I learned yesterday. I have been spinning for years. I have been making drum carded bats for years. And yet, yesterday, I finally discovered something that I really wanted to share about doing that. So let's go directly to the bat and what I have here on the table. This is Rambouillet. Okay, Rambouillet is a merino-based fiber and it is extremely fine. And the whole thing that got me learning what I learned yesterday is because I was struggling to spin this bat because of a lot of things in it and neps and whatever that the drum carder just left in there. Okay. Just to show you, and it's I know it's kind of hard to see, but this one here, okay, this one over here was spun the way I usually spin bats. And this one here, if you look, you can see it's a lot smoother single. Okay, these are singles, and I am going to apply these two together. I am fine with what kind of yarn I'm going to get out of this, but I will be spinning what I did to get this for the rest of the bats, and I have like 17 bats. I have a lot left to do. Okay, so you can see that I got a smoother single doing just one thing with the bats before I spun. The way I used to spin my bats, all right, this is a bat that comes off my drum carder just like this, is just to take a piece like this. I was just going to go like this, all the way down. And yes, I would draft it out, okay, just like you do anything like that. And as I was spinning along, I would hit bumps like this right there, or little bits of curly Q fiber that hadn't really been drum carded. This is actually a pretty good strip, but it varies throughout the different bats and all that. Well, I was not happy with this yarn that I was getting, which was that first one. And at the very last bat, I was spinning 5 bats because they were all of the same color. At the very last bat, I thought, I am going to try doing the pin dizzing. That is a funny word. It is D-I-Z. And diz means you have your fiber pulled off through from the bat through a tiny hole. And I can't believe, I think I forgot my hook. I'll thread it through here. No, there it is. I did remember it. Okay. So you want to grab some fiber, and a diz always is curved, and you want the curved shape in. So you get some fiber pulled through. See that? See how there's a little bit pulled through? Okay. Now dizzing is like making roving off a bat. And I'm going to move these bobbins so they don't go rolling off. And you can see that I have all the bat over here. I have a little strip of bat coming out through the diz. And what you want to do is pull so that this curved area gets filled up with, okay, and then you pull back and you pull through. You pull back and you pull through. It doesn't matter where you work on your bat. You're not going to take a single strip or anything. You're just going to work wherever you want. I can slow down. I've got the best part out now, and it's only been 5 minutes. We did it. All right. See? So I'm just going to go ahead and I've got a lot of bats to do. I'm just going to go ahead and you can watch this process. Now, why did this make it better? Well, if you think about when you spin a piece of roving and you draft and you pull and spin, you get good thin drafting zone. And what you don't want in the drafting zone tends to end up in your back holding hand, and you go further down and you further down. And have you ever said, why do I always throw away the last little pinch of fiber at the end of a draft? That's why. Those little bits of stuff actually get pulled down there, but not all the time, not consistently, and you still stop and pick stuff out. Now, what is happening here is those bits of stuff aren't going through this diz. They are not going through this hole. So see this right here? Little clump of foot. Oh, you can't tell it very well. Anyway, that isn't going to go through the diz. So I should have, and did have, less of those bits that I didn't like the way it was spinning, and I got a smoother single. Okay. All right. I have a clump here that doesn't want to go through. That's because some of the stuff got pulled up there that really I didn't want in what was making the single. So I had to back up just a little bit, spread it out a little bit, and then pull it through. So it does. It stops the stuff from going through. I don't diz my bats. I haven't for a long, long time. This is what I learned. I've always said, oh, that's an extra step. I don't really think it matters. I finally hit a fiber that it mattered, right? And what made the difference is that this being a Rambouillet merino based kind of wool where it's very fine has more of those neps and everything. I spun a whole bunch of bats of Shetland and the yarn was perfectly fine. Next, I spun a whole bunch of bats of Corriedale. Corriedale's a little softer, finer than Shetland. I had some problems, but I was not unhappy with the yarn. I really could pick out whatever I hit as I was spinning. I tried the same thing with this, which is even finer, and was very unhappy with the single that I was getting. And it was at that point, after I had spun all of the one bobbin and part of a second bobbin, that I took a break and I just was thinking about it. And I thought, I have a bat left of that color. I am going to try spinning, dizzing it off and spinning that and see if that makes a difference. And it did. I wasn't sure. I wasn't really sure that would make that much of a difference, but it does. Okay, now I did get some that went through that is not. I pulled too hard. Okay, I pulled too hard on it, and I'm going to take that out. So it's not 100% foolproof, but it will improve the single. Now, if it happens, you might get an entire roving. I mean, you line this up as a ball, and then you continue on. So that is what I am going to, all of this is what I'm going to highlight, and hopefully it will stay on my Twitch page at yarnspinnerstales.com, because highlights don't go away. And if you're having trouble spinning a bat, I hope you find this information and can use it. You can make a diz out of anything. I happen to buy this. You can buy dizzes. You can buy different size holes. A lot of times people will buy it even smaller than what this is. I'm going to go ahead and break this so that I can show you this. I have made a diz out of a piece of plastic cut out of a milk jug and a hole punched in that. And, you can make it as big or as little as you want. However, what happens is when you get a fiber that expands a lot like this Rambouillet does, you have a fine hole, you're still going to get a pretty thick roving coming through. Okay. So it really didn't matter to me what that this was a sort of big hole in the sense that it's doing what I want it to do, which is to catch the neps and keep them from going into the roving.